Welcome to World News by Denis Halandzovskyi. If you value calm, clear, and fact-based reporting on global developments, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your perspective. Today, we bring you a significant report from the Middle East. Widespread protests in Iran, fueled by deep economic hardship, runaway inflation, and the collapse of the national currency. In cities across Iran, including Tehran, Isfahan, and Shiraz, thousands of people have taken to the streets in recent weeks, not to chant slogans about geopolitics or foreign policy, but over livelihoods, jobs, and the cost of living. The Iranian rial, the country's currency, has lost tremendous value against foreign currencies. As the rial has plummeted, the prices of basic goods, food, medicine, fuel, and utilities have soared. Ordinary families find it harder and harder to afford essentials. Many have reported that incomes no longer keep pace with rising costs, pushing previously secure households into poverty. This wave of protests is distinct from earlier political uprisings. While past demonstrations focused on social freedoms and political accountability, today's rallies are grounded in frustration with economic mismanagement, deep inequality, and a sense that the government has failed to protect people from worsening financial hardship. Workers from diverse sectors have joined the unrest, from bazaar merchants facing shrinking demand to teachers and retirees struggling with stagnant wages and rising rent. Social media videos show crowds chanting blunt economic demands, calling for accountability and relief from soaring costs. Some protesters are demanding currency reform, wage increases, price controls, and broader economic accountability from state institutions. Others are pushing for deeper political change, arguing that systemic problems underlie the economic collapse and that reform requires more than technical fixes. The Iranian government's response has been both repressive and cautious. Security forces have stepped up patrols in major squares and public spaces. There have been reports of detentions and crackdowns on demonstrators. In some areas, authorities have limited internet access, a familiar tactic aimed at slowing the spread of protest organization and curbing the visibility of dissent both domestically and internationally. Iran's leadership has acknowledged economic pressures, but officials frame the crisis in terms of external pressures, including sanctions, regional conflicts, and global economic instability. Government statements promise targeted support to vulnerable groups and insist that reforms are underway, but many Iranians say these measures are insufficient or too slow to address their immediate struggles. The protests carry broader regional implications. A nation already central to Middle Eastern geopolitics, with influence in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, now faces intense internal pressures that could weaken its strategic position. Regional rivals are watching closely, with some hoping that internal instability may shift power balances in their favor. At the same time, Iran's economic collapse and public unrest are reminders of how internal economic conditions can shape foreign policy. A government under pressure at home may recalibrate its external commitments, whether in diplomatic negotiations, military involvements, or energy markets. International observers have urged restraint, respect for peaceful protest, and constructive dialogue. Human rights organizations have called attention to detained demonstrators and the right of people to express economic grievances without fear of repression. For ordinary Iranians, the crisis is immediate and personal. Older generations remember times when the rial was stronger and food and fuel prices were stable. Younger generations, many of whom have never known political or economic stability, feel increasingly pessimistic about their future prospects. The protests in Iran are less about ideology and more about daily survival. When people struggle to feed their families, pay rent, and keep the lights on, even broad national pride cannot outweigh the crushing reality of economic hardship. The situation remains fluid, with hundreds of thousands watching, waiting, and in many cases, joining the calls for change. Thank you for watching this report on World News by Denis Halandzovskyi. If you found this explanation clear and informative, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your perspective. In times of deep economic uncertainty, understanding the human impact of global events matters more than ever. Stay informed, and see you in the next update.